Welcome back to the deep dive. We take your sources, find the core insights, and deliver the strategies you need.
That's the plan.
And today, yeah, we are going deep into modern poker. It's pretty competitive out there.
Definitely.
If you've been playing lately, live or online, things feel different. Everyone seems to have access to solvers, GTO charts, endless videos.
Right. It feels like all the secrets are out. The barrier to entry seems super high.
Yeah, exactly.
But, it kind of feels that way because the baseline strategy, GPO, game theory, optimal, that sort of unexploitable foundation, well, it is available to everyone now.
Okay.
But the mistake, and this is what our sources really hammer home, is thinking just knowing GTO is enough to win.
Right, there's more to it.
Way more.
Hmm.
The real path to winning consistently now, it's not about being a perfect robot. It's about finding and really exploiting how average players mess up, how they deviate from that baseline.
Okay, let's get right into that then. So our mission today, we're pulling out 4, let's call them fundamental advantages, high impact areas maybe.
Yeah, focus areas sounds good. Things that give you a real edge.
And these should seriously boost your win rate. We're going beyond the basics, focusing on execution and finding where you have the advantage over others. This stuff applies if you're grinding, tiny stakes online or playing low-limit live game.
Yep, absolutely relevant across the board.
So we're hitting selection, the mental game tilt, basically purposeful practice and plugging leaks. Let's kick off with selection. Seems like the easiest win. Hashtag, tag, just 1, site, venue, game, table, and seat selection.
It often is, yeah. I mean, I used to focus just on strategy, too.
Me too. I always thought that was number 1.
But the sources really push this idea of choosing your environment first, finding those softer games, tables full of players making obvious mistakes.
The fish, as they say.
Well, yeah, recreational players, let's call them. Finding them is just the quickest way to make your session profitable.
Makes sense. Like securing good odds before you even play a hand.
Exactly. It's like getting pre-flop equity for your whole session before a card is dealt. So the first thing is venue or site selection.
Okay.
Online, you really need to be honest about where the recreational money actually pools. Sources suggest maybe moving away from some of the big, heavily tracked sites.
Like PokerStars, maybe?
Could be. And looking more towards platforms using those private app clubs like Club GG or Poker Bros.
Why those specifically?
Well, often the skill gap is just much wider in those private games. And importantly, game tracking is way less effective. That creates some really juicy spots.
Ah, okay. That's a big tip for online players. What about live grinders? How do they hunt for soft tables and pick targets?
Live is all about sharp observation. You're looking for players showing that massive gap between VPIP, how often they voluntarily put money in the pot, and their PFR, their pre-flop raise percentage.
Right, the VPIP-PFR stat.
Yeah. See someone limping or calling raises like 40% of the time, but only raising maybe 5%.
Wow, yeah, that's a huge difference.
It's a giant flashing light. It tells you this person sees tons of flops, probably out of position, with weak hands. They're basically setting themselves up to make mistakes after the flop. Guaranteed.
So finding that player and getting position on them, that's actually a bigger win, a higher EV move than just playing perfect GTO yourself.
Absolutely. That leads to the next layer, tactical seed advantage. Once you spot that player, the one with the exploitable profile, your mission is to get the seat immediately to their left.
So you always act after them.
On every street.
Yeah.
Maximum information, maximum ability to isolate them, put pressure on them. If you're playing live, don't just accept your seat. Ask for a seat change. Ask for a table change if you need to.
Good point. You're not there just to fill a chair.
You're there to maximize your expected value for that session, period.
So this whole deliberate search for the best table, the best seat, it's a structural advantage, boosts your win rate right away, and honestly, probably makes the game more fun too.
Definitely more fun when you know you're in a good spot. Hashtag 2ner, minimizing tilt, the mental game.
Okay, so you've done the selection homework. You're at a good table, seat's great, left of the guy calling everything.
The dream setup.
But the sources warn the biggest danger is still right there with you. It's your own head. The mental game. Tilt.
Yeah, the silent bankroll killer. And it connects directly back, why bother learning complex strategies if you just blow up under pressure? Right.
Makes sense.
And tilt isn't just, getting mad after a bad beat. What's interesting is how many forms it takes. The sources mention stuff like despair tilt.
Despair tilt.
Yeah, where you feel like you're just supposed to lose because you've been running bad and you play passively, almost inviting it. Or Entitlement tilt, feeling you deserve to win back your money now, which leads to jumping stakes way too fast.
Oh, man, that feeling of revenge poker,
Oh,
chasing losses. I think everyone's felt that spiral where you stop thinking clearly.
we've all been there.
What are the most common, like, really costly mistakes people make when tilt clouds their judgment?
Well, they just depart massively from playing rationally. One big one is getting way too aggressive firing barrels when you shouldn't, three betting super light without a good reason, just trying to force things.
Chasing.
Yeah, but being too passive is just as bad. Making those big, hopeful calls on the river with mediocre hands, just praying for a miracle chop or something.
Hoping they're bluffing.
Right. The goal, the sort of holy grail, is getting to that state where you're just executing calmly, almost like muscle memory, no matter if you just won a huge pot or took a nasty beat.
That in the zone feeling.
Exactly.
And for listeners who really want to work on this, the sources strongly recommend The Mental Game of Poker by Jared Tendler. Heard great things about that one.
It's excellent. Very structured approach to finding your emotional triggers and managing them. They also mentioned Tommy Angelo's Elements of Poker may be broader, more about long-term mental discipline.
Good recommendations.
And the powerful thing here, the real edge, is comparative. By mastering your mental game, keeping stable, you gain this huge advantage because, let's face it, your opponents will tilt.
Right. They'll react emotionally to the swings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You stay rational, play the math, play the situation.
Yeah.
They play their frustration, their narrative of being unlucky, that difference in decision quality. That's where a ton of profit comes from. #3, studying and practicing with purpose.
Okay, so we've got selection, we've got the mental game under control. Now let's talk about actually sharpening the technical skills. This is where I think a lot of people get tripped up.
How so?
Well, this trap of passive learning, you watch tons of videos, maybe look at some solver outputs, but the knowledge doesn't really stick. It stays theoretical.
Oh, 100%. We know the GTO charts are out there, right? Anyone can look them up.
Yeah.
But turning that chart into fast, effective action at the table, under pressure, that's the real skill.
It's like learning anything, really. Driving a car, tying your shoes.
Exactly. You don't learn by reading the manual once. You need that repeated, active practice until it becomes second nature. In poker, you got to turn theory into exploitative habits.
So the sources must outline a better way to study, right? A more like surgical approach that actually integrates these complex ideas.
They do. It starts with being super focused. Step 1, pick one specific spot where you feel lost or know you're losing money.
Like what kind of spot?
Could be anything. Maybe defending your big blind when the small blind opens. Or facing a delayed C-bet on the turn when you check the flop. Something really specific.
Okay, narrow focus. Then what?
Step 2, go find the best info on that specific spot. Consult a solver, find a good video, read an article, whatever your trusted source is. Get the baseline, the sort of GTO approach.
Okay, so far that sounds like just studying GTO again. Where does the exploitation part come in, the edge against real players?
That's step 3. You practice that specific concept, but with the clear intention of exploiting how typical players deviate from that GTO baseline.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say the solver says, in that spot, you should check raise your strong hands and some bluffs, maybe 12% of the time overall. You practice recognizing those hands.
Got it.
But when you're actually playing against someone you know is a super tight rock, you might adjust that check raise frequency way down, maybe only do it with your absolute strongest hands, because you know they won't fold often.
Okay.
Conversely, against that loose calling station we talked about earlier, maybe you expand your check raising range, bluffing more, maybe up to 20 or 25%, because you know they fold too much to aggression on later streets.
I see. So the GTO knowledge is the starting point, the tool.
Exactly. But exploitation, adjusting based on your opponent, that's the actual skill you're building.
And step 4 must be review.
Right. Accountability.
Mhm.
Reviewing your play soon after the session, specifically looking at how you applied or maybe misapplied that new skill you were working on. It's that fast feedback loop. Learn, apply, map, review for fine. That's what builds real expertise, not just watching another video.
Active competency building. I like that. #, discovering and plugging your leaks.
Yeah, and that whole structure, that purposeful study, leads perfectly into the final advantage. Finding and fixing your own leaks.
Right. Everyone knows they have leaks, mistakes they make habitually. But the challenge now isn't just finding simple stuff. It's finding those more subtle errors that other good players who are also studying, can exploit over time.
That's the key distinction today, absolutely. We're hunting for those ingrained, costly habits. And how you find them differs a bit between live and online play.
How's it for life players? Seems harder without software.
It definitely requires more, let's say, active self-awareness and really diligent note-taking during or right after a session.
Mm.
You ever honestly document spots where you felt unsure or hands where you consistently seemed to lose money?
Like noticing a pattern.
Exactly. Like, I seem to lose a lot when I double barrel bluff on ace-high boards, or I keep paying off big river bets when the flush draw completes. You need to spot those patterns yourself.
Makes sense. But online players, they have a massive advantage here, right? With the tracking
Well,
software.
it's huge. Tools like Poker Tracker, Hold'em Manager, they're incredibly powerful. They don't just record hands. They analyze your play across, like, hundreds of thousands of hands.
Wow.
They show you your exact win rate by position, by stack size, even for specific actions like 3-betting or c-betting. They can pinpoint those subtle, hidden leaks.
Like what kind of leak might software uncover?
Maybe something like you're overfolding to 3 bets when you're out of position by like 5% compared to optimal. Doesn't
Yeah.
sound like much, right?
Doesn't seem huge, no.
But GTO aware opponents are looking for that. They'll pick up on it and just relentlessly 3-bet you in those spots, bleeding you slowly but surely. The software quantifies that vulnerability.
Okay, so the software flags it. Warning, you lose 50 big blinds per 100 hands when defending the small blind versus a button raise. Something specific like that. What's the action plan then?
It connects right back to that purposeful study idea. It's a 2-phase attack. Phase 1, precision diagnosis. You find study material, maybe a specific solver sim, a focused training video that addresses only that specific weakness.
Not general strategy, just fixing that one leak.
Exactly. You're studying how to fix your small blind defense frequency against that specific bet size from the button. Phase 2, purpose-driven practice. You go into your next sessions actively looking for those exact spots.
And intentionally apply the fix you just learned.
Right. You practice the correct counter strategy until it replaces the old leaky habit.
And the payoff for all this meticulous leak plugging work.
It's probably the highest leverage thing you can do. Think about it. You immediately save money by stopping your own recurring mistake, and almost at the same time you start making new money because now you're more aware. You can spot and exploit that same leak in your opponents.
Ah, double benefit. Fix your leak, exploit theirs.
Exactly. It's this self-reinforcing loop that really helps you climb stakes faster and actually compete in today's tougher games. Hashtag tag tag outro outro.
Okay, let's recap this. 4 key pillars. 4 big strategic advantages to get ahead in modern poker, even with GTO everywhere. Number 1, selection. Choose your site, your game, your table, your seat wisely. Control the environment.
Yep, set yourself up for success before you play. Number 2, the mental game. Master your own tilt. Stay rational when others are losing their cools.
Right. Number 3, purposeful practice. Don't just watch, do. Learn a specific concept, apply it with exploitative intent, review, refine.
Active learning, active application. And finally, number 4, leak plugging. Use self-awareness or software to find your specific weaknesses, then surgically study and practice to fix them.
Seems like a solid framework.
And here's the practical advice, the takeaway. Don't try to tackle all 4 at once. That's overwhelming. Focus creates leverage. Pick one area right now.
Just one.
Just one to start. Commit to developing it consistently. Maybe it's just getting better at table selection, really tracking those VPIP, PPFR numbers live. Or if you're online, run that database analysis. Find your single biggest leak and go after it.
Makes sense. Small steps, consistent effort.
That consistent, focused effort, it yields huge results over time.
And that leads to maybe the most provocative thought here, that consistency itself is the edge. Remember, most players, your competition, they just won't put in this kind of consistent, focused, deliberate work, even after hearing something like this.
Sad but true for many.
That basic unwillingness of the average player to commit to really improving, that lack of discipline, that's a massive advantage you build for yourself right from the start just by deciding to actually do the work.
That might be the biggest leak in the entire player pool.
And exploiting that leak, their lack of commitment, is maybe your greatest source of long-term profit.